So in the previous discussions, um, we have discussed yung dalawang methods ng modeling systems. Okay. So gumamit tayo ng transfer function. Okay. May method tayo ng transfer function. Okay. And meron tayong state space representation. Okay. So if you might recall, galing dun sa natin um, sa sa design process ng control systems engineering natin. Okay, you might recall na after obtaining the model, okay, i-reduce muna natin yung system into a single block or a unity feedback system. Okay, then tsaka tayo mag-analysis and design. Okay, that's step 6. Okay, now so yung previous chapter we dealt with step 4 nung process na yun. Okay, yung step 5, which is yung reduction ng system, i-skip muna natin. So gagawin natin, tatalon muna tayo sa step 6. Okay, so dito ang gagawin muna natin is we will try to analyze and some kind of design. Okay, component designing specifically. Okay, so ide-design natin yung components ng system natin in order to come up with a certain time response characteristics. Okay, so this part of the discussion demonstrates the application of system representation by evaluating the transient response from the system model. Okay, so basically kukuha tayo ng transient response galing sa transfer function. Okay, sa transfer function tayo kukuha ng transient response. Okay, so we'll skip the part where we can actually get yung transient response galing sa state space. Okay, although hindi rin naman siya ganoon kahirap kung tutusin. Okay, but anyways, para lang magkaroon tayo ng grasp, okay, with regards sa kung paano ang itsura ng transient response. Okay, we will just deal with obtaining your transient response galing sa transfer function. Okay, now a valuable analysis and design tool, the poles and the zeros, will be first described, and the analysis of first and second order systems follow after. Okay, so pag-aralan mo natin kung ano yung poles and zeros kasi napaka-importante ng konsepto ng poles and zeros, most especially yung pole, or more especially yung pole. Okay, sa analysis ng transient response ng system natin. Okay, and then we will boil down the lesson to the analysis of transient response of first and second order system. So ayan, now ano ba yung tinatawag ng order ng system natin? Okay, so just as we define order sa differential equation as the highest derivative appearing in the equation. Okay, that's the order of your differential equation. Okay, the order of the system refers to the order of the equivalent differential equation representing the system. Okay, so in which kung i-inspect nyo at i-dig in pa natin ng mas mabuti, this is also equal dun sa degree, okay, nung denominator ng transfer function ninyo. Okay, kung maalala niyo, kumukuha kayo ng differential equation galing sa kumukuha kayo ng transfer function galing sa differential equation. Kung maalala niyo, what we're trying to get at is iteration natin yung output over input, pero yung coefficients at saka yung polynomial that is multiplied to the output, okay, ay napupunta sa denominator ng transfer function ninyo. Okay, you can verify that. Okay, now since yung denominator ngayon ng transfer function ninyo is basically a polynomial, okay, yung degree nun would actually represent the order. Pero that is after we cancel yung common factors ng numerator at saka ng denominator. So, pag natanggal na natin yung common factors ng numerator at saka denominator, of course, pagka may natanggal tayong mga factors, sa numerator at saka sa denominator, take note na na mare-reduce yung degree ng mga polynomials ninyo, both ng numerator at saka ng denominator. Okay? So once na matanggal natin yung common factors na yon ng numerator at saka ng denominator, yung resulting degree, okay? Yung resulting degree ng ng polynomial ng denominator ninyo becomes the order of the system. Okay? That's in terms of transfer function. In terms naman ng state space representation, the order of the system refers to the number of simultaneous first order equations. Okay? Kung medyo inaral niyo yung optional material na binigay ko sa inyo, ang mangyayari kapag gusto nyo mag-represent ng system in state space is yung nth order differential equation nyo ay i-reduce nyo sa n first order differential equations. Kung second order yung differential equation na nagre-represent ng system mo, okay, i-reduce mo siya sa dalawang first order equations. Okay? So, basically, yun yung magiging order, or that's how we define the order of your system. Okay? So, i-relate natin yan doon sa gusto nating mangyari na mag-discuss ng first order at saka second order system. Okay? So, it means na in terms of transfer function, kung titingnan niyo yung denominator natin, yung first order system natin has a linear denominator. Yung denominator niya has to form s plus a. Okay? So, yun yung first order system. Yung second order system naman, dapat ang degree ng denominator mo is 2. So, which means it could assume the form s squared plus as plus b. Okay? So, yun yung second order system natin. Okay, so mag-concentrate tayo sa mga systems na ganun yung transfer function. Okay. Now let's talk about the transient response or the output of your system. The output of your system is the sum of two responses. Okay. So lagi 'yon. Okay. Ang components ng system mo would always consist of two ang response mo would always consist of two components. Okay? So, number one is the force response. Okay? Which eventually becomes your steady state. Okay? And kung kinukuha natin ito galing sa differential equation, it is actually the particular solution of your differential equation. Okay? So, that's the first component. The second component is the natural response. Okay? In which pag sinosolve mo to galing sa differential equation, it actually comes from the homogeneous solution. Okay? So later on, i-justify natin yung pangalan na forced response at saka natural response for those parts. Okay? So as we said earlier, if your system is represented by a differential equation, simply put, makukuha nyo kagad yung output na yun. Makukuha natin kagad yung output na yun by actually solving the output as defined from the differential equation. Okay? So, hindi naman siya mahirap i-solve. Kaya lang, kung paulit-ulit natin siyang isa-solve lang ganun-ganun, okay, it would actually take time. Okay? And there are systems that meron talagang mataas talaga yung order niya. So, ibig sabihin nun, complex kasi talaga yung system ninyo. Okay, so it would actually lead to a very high ordered system. So, kapag ganun, yung complexity ng computations natin actually increases. Okay, so that is why, instead of actually going through solving yung differential equation ninyo, we will just instead use transfer function, which is very intuitive. Okay, so yun nga lang, ang assumption natin, again, para mas lalo nating mapasimple yung ating solution is that our initial conditions to be 0. Okay? So, naalala natin before na pag in terms of transfer function, okay, kung ang system mo is represented by a block, okay, if your system is represented by a block, tapos ang kanyang transfer function ay g of s, okay, ang output niyan ay C of S. ang transform ng output niyan ay C of S at ang input niyan or ang transform ng input niyan ay R of S. Okay? Nalaman na natin before that C of S or yung transform ng output mo, okay, is equal to yung product ng transfer function G of S, okay, and yung transform ng input R of S. Okay, so nalaman na natin yan before. So that is why mas madali itong i-operate kasi kapag nasa Laplace transform or kapag nasa S domain na tayo or nasa complex S domain na tayo, yung mga calculus operations natin or yung mga methods natin sa calculus nagiging nagiging algebraic. Okay, nare-reduce yung problem natin from calculus papuntang algebra. Okay. Tapos ang problemahin na lang natin is to actually get the inverse. Okay. Pero later on madi-discover natin na kung kukuha lang naman tayo ng time response parameters o time response characteristics ng ating system, okay, madi-discover natin na hindi na natin kailangan laging mag-inverse. Okay? Bali, magde-derive na tayo ng formula, okay, galing sa output, okay, para makuha natin yung time response characteristics ng system natin. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi ng paragraph na to. Okay? So, we will use yung ideas ng poles and zeros. Okay? Yung idea ng poles and zeros, gagamitin natin yan in order to at least magkaroon tayo ng qualitative handle. Kung qualitative handle, it means wala tayong particular na value pero alam natin yung characteristics niya. Or may idea tayo kung ano yung characteristics ng natin. Hindi lang natin mapipinpoint yung eksaktong value ng characteristic. Okay? So, let's define now yung poles at saka yung zeros natin. Okay? So, ano ba yung poles na tinatawag? So, we define poles in two ways. Okay? And these two are equivalent. Okay? These two are consequential. Okay? So, yung definition 1 is actually the main definition. Pero, it would imply, yung number 2 is yung implication nung definition 1. Okay? Ganun din sa zeros. Okay? So, sa poles, the poles of the system are the values of the Laplace transform variable S, okay, that cause the transfer function to become infinite. Okay? So, ngayon, kung ang tandaan natin na ang ating transfer function, G of S, is normally a rational function. Okay? So, nalaman natin yan sa pag-aaral natin ng Laplace transform. Okay? Ang Laplace transform ng isang function is normally a rational function. Okay? So, that also implies na ang transfer function natin would always be a rational function. Ibig sabihin, meron niyang numerator function o numerator polynomial in terms of S, tas meron siyang denominator polynomial in terms of S. Okay? Now, if we would want our G of S, to become, if we want G to become infinite, okay, it would imply na yung D ninyo should equal 0. Okay? It would imply na yung denominator ninyo maging 0. So therefore, kung gusto nyo kunin yung poles ng G, okay, it also means that you would want to solve for the roots of D. Okay, take note sa algebra, in our algebra, okay, if you are trying to solve an equation such as a polynomial, okay, in a certain variable na equal to 0, okay, you're basically solving for the roots, okay, of that polynomial. So what we're trying to find here, okay, is yung roots of your denominator. Okay. So, ayun. So, that is your definition ng pole. Okay? So, ayun. Now, it is possible that that your denominator tsaka yung numerator nyo would have the same roots. Okay? That would imply na common yung factor na yon sa numerator tsaka sa denominator. Usually, pag common yung dalawang yon, kinakancel natin, di ba? Okay? Now, even though that factor, okay, and basically, yung root that causes that factor would disappear from the denominator, still, tatawagin pa rin natin siyang pole. Okay? Ito yung sinasabi natin. Halimbawa, ganito. Meron kang transfer function. Okay, meron kang transfer function na ang numerator ay s plus 1, s plus 3, s plus 5. Okay? Tapos meron kang denominator na s plus 2, s plus 4, tsaka sabihin natin s plus 5. Okay? So lumalabas ito yung numerator function mo or numerator polynomial mo. Tapos ito yung denominator polynomial mo. So gusto natin, if we want g, okay, to approach infinity or to become infinite, okay, that should imply na yung denominator natin should become 0. Okay? Now, in that case, we would want s plus 2, okay, s plus 4, at saka s plus 5 to be equal to 0. Okay? So, by zero factor theorem, napag-aralan natin sa algebra yon, it implies na yung s plus 2 natin equals 0, s plus 4 natin equals 0, saka yung s plus 5 natin equals 0. So, therefore, yung roots natin ng denominator nyo are negative 2, negative 4, at saka negative 5. So, itong tatlong ngayon na to, itong tatlo na yan, ito, okay, ito, tsaka ito, these are your poles. Okay, poles ngayon yan. Now, one may argue na, sir, sa una pa lang, we can actually cancel out s plus 5 kasi common sa kanya. Okay? So, parang sasabihin natin na mare-reduce yung solution natin sa s plus 2 times s plus 4 equals 0. So, that is why ang pole mo lang dapat is itong dalawa. Okay? That's not the case for the definition number 2. Sa case ng definition number 2, even though makakancel natin si s plus 5 dahil common siya sa numerator at denominator, still, it is considered as a pole. Okay? So, I hope that is clear for all of us. Okay? So, ayun. So, ayun. So, I hope this is clear. Regarding sa even though makakancel nyo yung isang factor, okay, because these are common sa numerator at denominator, still we will consider them as a pole. Okay, and eventually later on pag define natin yung 0, again ito still 0 pa rin ito. Parte pa rin siya ng zeros ng G. Okay? So, and speaking of which, okay, we can actually we now define yung zeros natin. Okay, we now define yung zeros of the transfer function are the values of the Laplace transform variable s, okay, that cause the transfer function to become 0. Okay, so in this case naman, if yung poles nyo make your g infinite, okay, if your poles make your g infinite, okay, your zeros would make g equal to 0. Okay? And that would imply, okay, galing dito sa natin, that would imply that your n, yung numerator polynomial should equal 0. So basically, ang zeros ninyo are the roots of your numerator polynomial. Okay? And also, in the same manner as the poles, okay, included din sa zeros yung roots of the numerator that are common to the denominator. Okay, so tulad ng ini-explain ko kanina dito, okay, in terms of zeros, okay, so in terms ng zero, we would want our g, okay, okay, to equal 0. Okay, and that should imply that our numerator polynomial equal 0. So basically, kailangan natin yung isolve yung yung equation na s plus 1 times s plus 3 times s plus 5 equal 0. Okay? So by zero factor theorem, kung maalala nyo yan sa algebra, okay, it should we should have s plus 1 equal 0, s plus 3 equal 0, and s plus 5 equal 0. Okay? So now, we can solve for the zeros, okay, as s equals negative 1, s equals negative 3, and s equals negative 5. So ito ngayon yung zeros ng ninyo. Okay, these three are the zeros of your transfer function g. Okay, now it is customary na gamitin natin yung symbol na z, okay, para sa zeros. Okay, so gagamitin natin yung symbol na z para sa zeros so that we can write this as z1, okay, equals negative 1, z2 equals negative 3, and z3 equals negative 5. Okay, tapos gagamitin natin yung symbol na or yung variable na p para sa poles. So p1, based dito, ang mga poles natin ay basically negative 2, okay, p2 is negative 4, at saka p3 is negative 5. So ito yung mga zeros natin, ito yung mga poles natin. Okay, so ayan. Now, it would be really helpful, okay, it would be really helpful kung ma-visualize natin yung location ng zeros and poles ng transfer function natin. Okay? Napaka-helpful na na ma-visualize natin siya. So what do we mean by that? It means na gusto natin sana makita natin yung location ng poles and zeros ninyo sa complex S-plane. Okay? Or yung placement niya sa complex S-plane. Okay? So yung complex S-plane natin is basically just just an Argand diagram. Okay? It's a Cartesian coordinate system. Okay? Pero ayan. It's a Cartesian coordinate system. Pero yung x-axis ninyo represents the real part of S. Okay? In which we refer to this as sigma. Okay? And yung y-axis niyo is the imaginary part of S, which we refer to as omega. Remember, sa Laplace transform natin, ang S natin equals sigma plus j omega. Okay? So that, i-refer natin ngayon yung x-axis as the sigma, tapos yung y-axis as the omega. Okay? Now, it is possible na yung yung poles at yung zeros niyo to be complex. Okay, posible siya maging complex. Tandaan nyo, ang usapan natin sa sa Laplace transform is that itong S natin is actually a complex number. Okay? So that is why pag i-plot natin yung location niya dito sa ating Cartesian coordinate plane, okay, complex din dapat siya. Okay? So again, yung x-axis niya is represented in the x-axis, tapos yung imaginary part niya sa y-axis. Okay? So that kung meron tayong unahin natin yung zeros natin. Okay? So yung zeros natin, i-represent natin siya dito as circles. Okay? So yung circle magre-represent ng 0 or zeros. Okay? While yung cross, okay, magre-represent ng poles or yung X i-represent ng poles. So kapag maglo-locate tayo ngayon ng ano natin, ng zeros at saka ng poles natin, gagamitin natin itong mga symbol na to para mapag-iba natin siya. Okay. So say for example, meron kayong 0 sa C equals -1. Okay, o sa S equals -1. So basically, i-represent natin yan as a complex number na yung Z1 ninyo, okay, is -1 plus J0. Okay. So hanapin natin ngayon yung coordinate na -1, 0. Dito. Okay. So assuming na ito yon, kasi -1, ibig sabihin 0 to, ito yung origin. So -1 sa x-axis is sa kaliwa niya. So sabihin natin ito. Okay. Tapos 0 yung y-axis. So nandito siya. Nandito sa mismong point na to. Okay. So ipa-plot natin yan by drawing a circle here to represent this 0. So ito yung z equals 1 na ano mo. Ito yung z1 equals -1 mo. Okay. So proceeding. Okay. Meron ka ring 0 sa -3 plus J0. So hanapin natin yung coordinate point na -3, 0. So sabihin natin nandito siya. Habaan pa natin to. Ayan. So ito yung ano mo, -3 mo. So -1 to -3. Sabihin natin nandito yung -5. Okay. So we would, since 0 ito, we would draw a circle over here so that this becomes your Z2 equals -3. And finally, yung pangatlo mong yung pangatlo nating 0, which is -5 plus J0. Ito siya. Okay. Hanapin natin sa coordinate na -5, 0. Okay. So, nandito nga yun. So, dodrawingan natin ito ng circle. Okay. Which would represent yung Z3 mo na -5. So, these are your zeros. Okay. Paano naman yung pole? Yung pole mo naman, which are located here, here, and here. Okay. So, meron tayong P1, which is at -2 plus J0. Okay. So, hanapin natin yung coordinate ngayon na -2, 0 para dito. Okay. So, in that case, -2, 0 ito. So, sabihin natin ito yung -2 tsaka -4. Okay. So, pa-plot natin siya dito. Pero this time, gagamitin ko yung symbol na X. Okay? To represent yung pole mo at -2. That's your P1. Yung pole mo naman sa -4, okay, is at -4 plus J0. So, hanapin natin siya sa -4, 0. Okay? So, nandito yon. So, ito yung -2, -4 ito. So, lalagyan din natin ng X dito. Okay. To represent yung pole mo at -4. Okay. Hindi ko na kinukompleto pero basta plus J0 yan. Okay. And kinumpleto ko na rin. Okay. And then finally, yung pangatlo nating pole sa -5. Okay. So, hahanapin natin yan sa coordinate point na -5, 0. So, ito siya. Okay. Same thing nito. O same location nito. So, dodrawingan din natin siya ng X dun. Okay. So, that represents your pole at -5 plus J0. Okay. So, ito ngayon yung tinatawag yung pole 0 plot. Okay. This one. Okay. This thing is your pole 0 plot. Okay. So, anong significance yan? Later on kasi, yung gagawin nating analysis and design would be shifted to more of yung visual location ng mga poles na to. Kasi pag alam nyo yung visual location ng poles na to, marami na kayong masasabi sa system niyo. Marami na kayong pwedeng sabihin niya. Okay. Dadaanan natin yun ng konti mamaya sa isang example kasi papakita natin na yung response ng system niyo ay actually nakadepende sa pole or sa location ng pole. Okay? So, ayan. Tapos, Pangalawang pwede nating masabi dyan is ito, yung overlapping ng zero at saka pole ninyo sa isang location. Okay. So, may tawag tayo dito. Tawag natin dyan is pole zero cancellation. Okay. Tinatawag natin itong ano to. Itong scenario na to na pole zero cancellation. Okay. In which later on, ito take advantage natin yan sa design. Okay, gagamitin natin yan to our advantage sa design natin. Okay, so ano pa ba? So ayan, now tandaan nyo lang na ang pole nyo pwede maging complex ha. Okay, later on makaka-encounter tayo, mas makaka-encounter tayo ng mga poles na complex. Okay, so it's possible na magkaroon kayo ng pole dito, tsaka dito. Okay, and also, dito pa lang, pwede nyo na sabihin, sa location pa lang ng poles ninyo, poles lang ha, hindi zeros. Sa location pa lang ng poles ninyo, pwede ko na sabihin kung stable o hindi yung system. So later on, madi-discover natin siya. Okay? So, ayan. Now, let's try to work on example 3.1. Okay, so determine the poles and zeros of the first order transfer function shown below and plot them on complex S-plane. Okay, so determine the output of the system to the given input. So meron kayong system dito, okay, na ang given input niya ay, ang transform ng input niya is 1 over S. So ibig sabihin ng input natin dito ay, yung input nating RT dito ay basically step function. Kasi yan lang naman yung input na ang transform ay 1 over S. So step function yung ating input dito. Okay. Ibig sabihin nun, ang hinahanap nating C of t dito. Ito ay tatandaan nyo lagi Pag ang input mo ay step function, ang tawag sa output mo ay step response. Okay. So pag ang input mo ay step function, if you have your system subjected to a step input, okay, ang output niya, yung C of t, tatawagin nating step response. So kapag meron kayong problem na find the step response of the system, ibig sabihin nun, yung input nyo ay step function. Okay, ganun din naman sa signals natin, kung maalala ninyo. Okay, yung input natin, yung step response natin is the response of the system to step input. Yung impulse response natin is the output of the system to an impulse input. Okay, so clearly, okay, pag kukunin natin yung poles and zeros nito, okay, yung numerator niyan, okay, is basically S plus 2. Okay. And kung gusto natin kunin yung zeros ng g of s, we will set the numerator to 0. So that should imply na yung s natin, which is now our 0, okay, so z1, ito ay siyang z1, equal sa negative 2. So ito yung 0 yung isa. Okay. Next, yung pole naman niya can be obtained by setting the denominator polynomial to yung denominator polynomial nyo is basically s plus 5. Okay. So makukuha natin yung pole ng system natin by setting this denominator polynomial to 0. Okay. In which s now becomes our pole. So P1. Okay. Which is equal to negative 5. So ito ngayon yung 0 at saka pole ninyo. Okay? So ngayon, pag ito, i-represent natin sa complex S-plane. Clearly, ito na siya. Okay? So ito yung negative 2 at saka negative 5 natin. Now, the next thing na pinapahanap sa atin is yung step response. Okay? So, para mahanap natin yung step response, okay, para mahanap natin yung step response, okay, we take note na kukunin natin yung step response natin galing dito sa galing dito sa ah natin, block diagram. Okay. So recall na pag meron tayong ganitong block diagram, again, yung output natin or yung transform ng output natin ng C of S is basically G of S times R of S. So in this case, ang G of S natin is S plus 2 over S plus 5. Tapos yung R of S natin is 1 over S. Okay, so this results to S plus 2 over S times S plus 5. Okay, now, if we are interested, in finding the, if we are interested in finding the output, kukunin natin yung inverse nito. Okay, so yung inverse niyan can be obtained by taking first yung partial fraction expansion nito. Okay, so that's clearly A over S plus B over S plus 5. Okay, in which we can compute for A, okay, as S plus 2 over S plus 5 when S equals 0. Okay, so this is 2 over 5. Okay, and we have B as S plus 2 over S when S is negative 5. Okay, which is this is negative 3 over negative 5, so that should be 3 over 5. Okay, so from there, okay, we can write now your inverse transform as, or yung CS ninyo. Okay, your CS can be written now in as 2 over 5 over S, okay, plus 3 over 5 over S plus 5, and its inverse C of T can now be obtained as 2 over 5 plus 3 over 5 e raised to negative 5t. So ito yung response natin. Okay, so ito ngayon yung point nung ito yung point na gusto nating i-emphasize dito. Okay, ang gusto nating i-emphasize dito is may kinalaman ba, yung poles and zeros ninyo dito sa response? Okay, may kinalaman ba siya? So it turns out na meron. Okay, so paano siya? Una, tingnan natin na ano yung mga involved na mga poles. Okay, unang-una, meron dalawang types of poles na pumasok dito. Okay, so yung isang pole, okay, is yung nanggaling sa system, yung pole ng system ninyo. Okay, so tatawagin natin siyang system pole. Okay, so ano yung system pole? Yun yung pole na nanggaling dito sa block diagram ninyo. Okay, and clearly, that pole is S equals negative 5. Okay, so that is S equals negative 5. Yung pangalawang pole na meron tayo dito is yung nanggaling dun sa input. Kasi basically, kung titingnan nyo yung yung transform ng input ninyo, okay, 1 over S, rational din yan. So, ibig sabihin, pwede nyo pa rin yang i-express as N over S, okay, at saka T over S. Okay, pwede nyo pa rin yang i-express as N over S at saka D over S. Okay, so in that case, masosolve nyo pa rin yung pole niyan tsaka yung zero niyan, okay, tsaka yung pole niyan. So, it turns out na wala siyang 0, pero meron siyang pole at S equals 0. Okay, so ito yung tinatawag ngayong input pole. Tapos, meron tayong isang system 0. Okay, yung 0 na nanggaling dun sa system niyo. Okay, so what happens? Nung nag-inverse tayo, isa sa mga proseso na dinaanan natin nung nag-inverse tayo is ito. Okay. Tingnan natin mabuti ito, no? Ayan, sentro natin siya. Tapos, ay, sorry, mali. Ayan, zoom natin. Okay. So, nung nag-inverse tayo, pansinin nyo na nung kinompute ko tong 2 over 5, ano yung ginamit ko para makompute ko yung 2 over 5? Itong s equals 0. And take note na itong s equals 0 ninyo is an input pole. Okay? So, para makuha nyo yung 2 over 5, okay, una, ginamit yung input pole. Pangalawa, may kinalaman itong s plus 2. Okay, yung factor na s plus 2. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, para makuha nyo yung value ng A or yung magnitude ng A, may kinalaman dyan yung input pole at saka itong system pole natin. Okay? So, in the same manner, para makompute nyo yung value ng B, okay, may kinalaman dyan yung ito becomes your system pole. Okay? Tapos ito yung system 0 ninyo. Okay? So, para makompute nyo ngayon ito, okay, may kinalaman yung mga yan. Okay? So, ito yung sinasabi niyang, ito yung mga tinuturo niyang Okay? So, si system 0, may kinalaman siya sa value ng 2 over 5 at saka 3 over 5. Kumbaga, kung hindi ito negative 2 at iniba nyo yung value yan, mag-iiba yung value ng dalawang yan. Okay? So, ayun. Next. Yung denominator, okay, nung partial fraction expansion nyo, okay, is basically yung pole nung input at saka yung pole ng system. Okay, yung pole nung input saka yung pole nung system. Yan yung nag-partial fraction tayo. Okay. Pero, makikita nyo na yung dalawang terms na to, lumabas din to sa response. Okay, at yung isa, ito, sa nanggaling to. Okay, nanggaling yan dun sa dito. So, lumalabas, itong 2 over 5 ninyo is actually due to the input pole. Okay? So, yung part ng response ninyo, okay, that was caused by the input pole is what you call the force response. So, tawag natin ngayon dito sa 2 over 5 ay force response. Again, itong force response ninyo, okay, yung force response ninyo ay, ang dahilan niyan is yung input. Since nag-originate itong 2 over 5 dito sa term na to ng partial fraction ninyo at ito, okay, ang denominator niyan has an input, has the pole of your input. Ito ngayon yung force response component ng CT. Okay. In the same manner, ito, okay, yung second term ng partial fraction expansion ninyo produce this term. Itong 3 over 5 e raised to negative 5t. Okay. So, in fact, itong negative 5 na to is actually the pole. The system pole. Okay. Tama? System pole yan. So, ngayon, since ito, nanggaling to sa system ninyo. Okay. Nanggaling yan sa system ninyo. Ito ngayon yung tatawagin nating component ng nyo na natural response. Okay. Yan yung magiging natural response ng system natin. Okay. So, again, by definition, ang force response nyo ay nanggagaling sa input. It is caused by the input. Ang natural response nyo is caused by the system. Okay, kaya siya tinawag na natural response dahil pag wala kang input, ito lang yung magiging response niya. Okay, hindi hindi ito mismo, pero yung component na e raised to negative 5t, lalabas pa rin yan sa response niya kahit wala siyang input. Okay. Pero basically, ganun pa rin. Since nanggaling to sa system, we will call this the natural response. It's the natural response of the system without an input. Okay? Now, if your system, magkakaroon na siya ng input. Okay? Pag nagkaroon na siya ng input, actually, ito na yung magiging response niya. Itong dalawang components na to. Pero itong force response, okay, is that component of CT that is caused by your input. Okay? So, diyan natin makikita na gaano ka-intuitive yung poles and zeros in determining our response. Okay? In fact, qualitatively, kaya nating magsulat ng kakayanin natin na magsulat ng general form ng response ng system natin without actually taking the inverse. Okay? At dun pa lang malalaman natin ngayon yung form ng response ninyo at magkaka-idea tayo ngayon kung ano yung shape ng graph niya. Okay? So ito, katulad nito, medyo intuitive, okay? Intuitive yung natin, yung pagkuha natin ng response nito. Okay? Dahil obviously okay, so obviously pag meron kang dito pala tayo sa kabila. Ayan. Pag meron kang gantong system or gantong f of s at ipa-partial fraction mo yan, magiging ganito siya. Okay? At alam mo na ngayon na linear yung dalawa mong factors. Okay? At alam mo ito, magli-lead to sa constant. Ito magli-lead sa exponential. So, ganun ka-intuitive yung sinasabi natin pagdating sa Laplace transform. Okay? In fact, without actually going through this part, itong part na to, kahit na hindi ko daanan yan, kayang-kaya kong sabihin or kaya nating sabihin na ito, ang magiging inverse niyan, okay, is basically A plus B e raised to negative 5t. Okay? Kasi alam natin, una, magkakaroon to ng dalawang factors. Yung isa, 1 over A over S. So, yung A over S, ang inverse nun, A. Okay? Tapos, ito, yung isang factor nun is B over S plus 5. So, ngayon, ang inverse nun, alam natin, magiging exponential. So, dun ba lang, alam ko na ganito yung magiging response ko. Okay? And in that case, what would happen is that, magkaka-idea ako, ang mangyayari dyan is, eventually, ito, magsisiro ito. Okay? Kasi alam natin na as your time approaches infinity, okay, yung e raised to negative 5t actually approaches 0. Okay, so therefore, anong mangyayari? As your time goes along, ito magsisiro to, may iwan tong a kasi constant tong a eh. Okay, so alam natin na, again, intuition lang to. Okay, alam natin na yung magiging response nyo is more of like sa una 0 siya. Okay, kasi yung value nito tsaka yung value to most likely equal. Okay, so actually depende siya sa value ng v, no? Okay, so yung value ng v maaari kasing positive or negative. Kung negative to, 0 yan. Kung positive yan, galing yan sa taas. Okay, so sabihin natin positive siya kasi yun yung magiging dito. So manggagaling yan actually sa taas. Okay, tapos what would happen? Since ito magsisiro to, bababa yan. Okay, depende kung sino mas mataas sa a tsaka sa b. Okay, so bababa yan. Tapos magsisettle yan sa isang certain value, which is yung a mo. Ito, yung starting point na yan is actually a plus b. Okay, kung positive si b. At mas mataas si b kaysa kay a. Kung mas mababa naman si b tsaka si a, ang magbabago lang dyan is ito siya. Magsisimula siya sa isang certain value na mababa. Okay. So, yung a plus b. Tapos, medyo tataas siya ganun. Ngayon, kung negative tong si b, maaari magsimula yan sa 0. Okay. Tapos, tataas yan. Pero later on, magsisettle din sa value ng a. Okay. So, from there, nakukuha natin yung nagkakaroon tayo ng general idea kung ano yung shape ng response natin. So, yun yung sinasabi nating intuition. na pinoprovide pinoprovide ng ating poles and zeros. Okay? Which is an implication nung study natin ng transfer function. Okay, ito yung mga conclusions natin ngayon. Galing dun sa ating example. Okay? So, a pole of the input function generates the form of the force response. Okay, kung ano yung form ng input ninyo, okay, would actually generate kung ano yung force response ninyo. Kung ang input nyo ay constant, ang force response nyo constant. Kung ang input nyo ay sinusoidal, ang force response nyo sinusoidal. Okay, number 2. A pole of the transfer function or your system pole would generate the form of the natural response. Okay? So, kung non-zero yung pole ninyo, okay, ang natural response yung exponential. Kung complex yan, sinusoidal. Okay? Yung natural response nyo. Okay. So, a pole on the real axis. Okay. Napansin natin to. Ang pole na nasa real axis. Take note, nasa real axis yung example natin dito. Okay. So, yung pole na yun, yung pole na to, that is on the real axis, would generate what kind of response? It would generate an exponential response. So, real axis poles generate exponential response. Okay. Now, yung negative A, yun yung location ng pole nyo. So, binanggit ko nga dito kanina. Okay, binanggit ko na sa example natin kanina na itong negative 5 to is basically your system pole. Okay? So, itong negative 5 na to, ito yung system pole natin. Okay? And then, now we see to it na habang lumalayo, okay, we can say actually na habang lumalayo or the farther to the left a pole is on the negative real axis. Ibig sabihin, mas pag pinalayo nyo itong pole na to sa negative real axis niyo, okay, mas mabilis mag-decay yung exponential. Yung exponential na e raised to negative 10t ay mas mabilis mag-decay kaysa e raised to negative 5t. And take note na nandito yung location, for example, ng pole kapag siya ay negative 10. So, mas leftward yung pole nyo, mas mabilis mag-decay. Okay. So, kung halimbawa, kung ang decay nitong 5t ay ganito, halimbawa lang, ang decay nung negative 10t is eto. Yan, mas mabilis siya mag-decay. Okay. So, yung ngayon, yung A ngayon is actually an important parameter. Yung exponent ng exponential din is actually an important parameter. Okay. And it's called the exponential decay frequency. Now, the zeros and poles generate the amplitudes for both forced and natural responses. The main idea is that mas malaki ang kinalaman ng pole sa response ninyo kaysa sa zeros. Zeros would just determine yung amplitude. Pero yung shape ng response ninyo is determined by the pole. Okay? So, ayan. So, you can actually read through yung example 3, you work on example 3.2 at saka example 3.3 based dun sa mga conclusions na nagawa natin dito and verify na ito yung magiging sagot nila. Okay. Ito wala tong inverse. Ano lang to? Galing lang dito. Makakapagsulat na kayo ng general form ng inverse niya. Okay. Tinginan lang. Okay. So, yun nga yung gusto natin kasi mangyari sa talaga. Konting tingin lang, alam na natin yung itsura ng response natin. Okay. So, that's for poles and zeros.